I bet you $100 you thought this only had one purpose in life. What if I tell you this is the most valuable accessory you will get included when you buy a DSLR camera? What's up everybody, it's Vikram Niham, and today I'm going to give you guys 5 tips on how you can get your videos more cinematic. Let's be honest guys, we've all been there. You have been watching a film or a TV show and you see this amazing shot playing and you're thinking how hard could it be to reproduce that. It can be challenging, but it's not impossible. The word cinematic is a general term referring to any video or film produced with the quality motion pictures. Though there are no definitive rules on how to make it, many would agree that a cinematic look video features a unique storytelling through characters, chapters, thoughtful composition, delicate lighting, subtle color grading, engaging music, thrilling camera movement, sound effects, and I can go on and on. If you just imply one of these 5 tips, you will see a massive improvement in your next video. That is a guarantee. So let's do this, you and me. So let's look at tip number 1. Tip number 1, think before you shoot and shoot at 24 FPS. One of the easiest things that you can do before filming is to plan, and plan some more. If you just grab your camera and press the record button, things aren't going to work out very well. Personally, I will always close my eyes and visualize the shot in my head before going to sleep day before the shoot. This will make it easier for me to make sure that everything goes after the plan. And when you visualize the shot and plan, you'll become a director instead of just a DP, which again will change your whole mindset. And guys, always make a shot list of the shots you want to film. I always have this notebook. Where are you, man? I always have this notebook where all my thought goes down on the paper as well as my shot list. So I haven't forgot any shot when I'm out on location. Before you even begin shooting, you must make the habit and start planning your shot. Do you want to shoot at a shallow depth of field, or do you want to be shooting in the middle of the day in bright sunny daylight? If it is bright sunny daylight, you will need an ND filter. If you don't know what an ND filter is, go check out my video on ND and polarizer difference and usage. Nice, now we got that nailed down, we can look at FPS. You want to shoot in 24 FPS. The vast majority of films and movies are shot in 24 FPS. Frames per second. Not only does this closely resemble to the frame rate your eyes see in, but it is what viewers expect films to be shot in as well. If you are delivering in 48, 60 or any other frame rate than 24, your film won't look as, same as proper films. Our eyes and brains has been trained to expect 24 FPS by hundreds or even thousands of movies throughout the years. Alright, moving on. Tip number 2, that's sweet slow motion. Slow motion is widely used in motion pictures to enhance a dramatic moment like falling of a raindrop, a character dying, a standoff between a protagonist or antagonist, and so on. If you want to shoot in slow motion, you just need to shoot in a higher frame rate. Most films are shot in 24 FPS, which we typically associate with a film look. For slow motion, just shoot something like 60 FPS, then convert it down to 24 FPS in post. This will make your footage play back a little less than half a speed. The higher the frame rate, the slower it will be when played back at 24 FPS timeline. For example, if you film a video at 60 FPS or 120 FPS and played it back on 24 FPS timeline, which is the standard frame rate for film production, the subject's movement will become much slower. A go-to trick for many seasoned videographers and DPs is to shoot a slow motion footage as a quick and simple way to capture cinematic footage. While you can capture slow motion footage with high frame rate recording some of the most accessible cameras out there, like your smartphones or action cams, it does take the right camera for the job to really get that high quality FPS recording. Movements can transform your shot from being static and boring to lively and exciting. But jumping all around, however, will make your viewers want to throw up. So you need to find that middle ground that serves the story. Film production will spend large sums of money on all manners of dollies, jibs, cranes and gimbals. You don't need to spend money you haven't got, but it doesn't mean that you can't make a cinematic video on a budget. It simply comes back again to thinking before shooting. Slow, smooth, deliberate movements are the key here. Use a fluid head tripod or a budget gimbal to get a taste on how to take a cinematic shot like the big boys. A tracking shot is where the camera moves forward, backward, or alongside the subject. Think of the camera being on rails, which is often done to achieve tracking shot in films. Slow, perfectly smooth tracking shots are typically associated with a cinematic look. They can help you easily build tension and give the viewer a sense of, wonder and awe, and create a ton of visuals. You don't need a dolly, rail, slider, or even a gimbal to get these. You have one of the most valuable accessory in your possession right now. This little thingy right here, because slow motion is great for removing a good amount of shakiness with the gimbal of some kind. But this bad boy right here, you can have even smoother slow motion if you don't own a gimbal. So this strap is universally used to this purpose right here. I know, but if you pull this strap a little tight around your neck, then suddenly you'll have all kinds of stabilization. You can make all kinds of movements and motions with this strap. Sometimes I will just leave the gimbal at home and I will just go out with this strap. And when I come back and I start edit and I add maybe some little stabilization in post, I find that the shots are almost as good as a gimbal shot. So you only have to make it a little tight around your neck, and then you can move, you can do all kinds of motions. It's actually really amazing. Guys, just go out and try and you will be so impressed. And when you are done, you can just release and you have your hands free. Amazing. The only problem with slow motion is that it's easy to get carried away, because even the most mundane action will look incredible in slow motion. It becomes compelling to shoot everything that way, to the point what you are shooting no longer serves the story. And remember guys, story comes first, always. Tip number 3, add a cinematic crop. I have shown you how to make your footage look cinematic on set. But what now we've done? Hell no, you want to edit this godlike footage that you have captured. Adding a cinematic crop is one of the easiest things you can do in the editing bay. Suddenly you'll become a real filmmaker. The viewers will go crazy over how professional your films are, begging you to share your secrets. I'm just joking guys, but you get the idea. This shot is without cinematic crop, this shot is with cinematic crop. Boom, done, moving on. Tip number 4, choose the right music. The boys and the gals who have been following me know that I'm all about music. I just love music in my videos. It gives me such a powerful tool to steer the emotion in the direction I want. Music can make a massive difference to the feeling of your film. After all, music is used in film all the time to manipulate your emotions. Classic music for a sad scene, dance music for a party scene. Think about how you can make your videos look more cinematic by taking a close look on how the music brings the subject in frame to life. Me personally, I use Epidemic Sound for all my music and sound effects to ensure that I'm not using any copyrighted audio. So check out Epidemic Sound if you're ready to take your dope video to the next level. Tip number 5, color grading. Oh yes please, yes. Just like music, I love me some sweet color grade. I love to put my cinematic touch on my videos depending again on the story and the emotion. One of the best ways to get a cinematic look is to take care of the issue around the color grading with the help of your color grading knowledge. During the editing process, you will need to color grade and color correct your footage. It will give your film a really interesting and stylized look, allowing it to pop on screen and draw people in into what's going on. It all starts with exposing your shot correctly every single time, so you have all this data in the shadows and in the highlights when you start your color grade. I will make a more in-depth video about this because many people send me DMs asking me how I color grade so smooth, and I will tell you guys what I tell them. It all starts with exposing your shot correctly every single time. So stay tuned for that video. But remember guys, if you have poor lighting condition, no amount of color grading will save it. That data is gone, sadly. Gone. My final tip here is to color correct your footage. Ever notice how comedy film leans more to teal and orange kind of look? And old Wild West films have more like a yellow-brown tint to them. While color grading and color correction are entire industries in their own right, you can do something about it on your own using a color correction tool such as DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro, even if you're not experienced in the editing suite. Just as photographers refine the color tone of the raw photos for retouching, you can adjust the hue, saturation, luminance of your movie to get the desired contrast and fix the skin tone of the actors and evoke a special emotions. The key for color grading is being subtle and natural, especially for the skin tone of the subject. Don't overdo it guys. I have made so many mistakes in the past over the right skin tone of the subject. If you mess up the skin tone, that stuff is easily spotted by the viewers. It all comes down to exposing your shot correctly to get the most dynamic range for the god tier color grade in post. An easy way to color grade your videos is using FlexClip. It's a free online video editing program. Just upload your video footage and press the adjust button, and you can fine tune your color temperature, contrast, saturation, tint, shadows, vignette, you name it. And you can do all this to get the visual effects or the atmosphere you prefer. Or you can use Adobe Premiere Pro Lumetri tool to color grade your videos. Or you can upload a lookup table or a ready-made color grading template, if you will, to apply it to your videos. Then you can adjust the color of your highlights, midtones and shadows of your videos. But just to be clear guys, slapping a lot on your footage will not automatically make it cinematic. It might work on an Instagram post, but when combined with the other tricks and advice above, the color grade will 100% make your footage have more cinematic look and feel, making it more lit. There you go guys, we done. I will make a more in-depth videos of all the topics that we talked about here today, so stay tuned for those. Alrighty, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something useful today. If you enjoyed the video and you want to see more of this kind of content, consider giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing. Got something on your heart? Comment below and I will answer your questions. Alrighty guys, go out there and create, and I will see you awesome people later.